Update 1. Hey, guys. Thank you so much for the response. I have decided that I'm going to sleep on this for a couple of more days and think about what to do instead of letting my emotions get the better of me. So far, I hadn't spoken to my mother about it because I didn't want to stress her out. She had cut my dad and Eric off around the same time that I stopped speaking to them, but I know that she worries about my brother as well. She can't help it, she's a mom. And I know that if I told her that my brother was in debt, she would get really anxious about it. But I just had to talk to her about this, so I told her everything, and surprisingly, she said that I had no reason to help them because they had never looked out for me, or had my back. It would have been a different story if my father and my brother had apologized to me for how they had been mistreating me my entire life, but they didn't even do that, and it was the bare minimum. So I really had no reason to feel sorry for them, because Eric had dug this grave for himself, and now he could lie in it. My mother told me that she would have been worried about him, had he been any younger, but he's in his early 20s and it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. He screwed up. My dad allowed it to happen by encouraging him to be the worst in his entire life. Now the two of them could clean up this mess. I thought it was great advice, even though I'm not sure what I want to do right now. I'm still going to think about it, but honestly, my mother has a point. This is my hard-earned money and I don't want to just give it away to a gambling addict. Besides, I don't even know if they were telling me the truth, or it was just a story that they made up as a ploy to get cash out of me. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them because all things said and done, I'm a lot more successful than they had bargained for, and I'm sure that it's not easy for them to accept this. So of course they will try to do anything in their power to screw it up for me. Update 2. Hey, so I made that post last week. Yesterday, I decided to do some digging to find out what was going on so I could make an informed decision and not deal with the constant guilt of hanging my family out to dry. I know that they did me bad and stuff, but I am a paranoid guy and I just wanted to make sure that nothing that bad was going to happen to them, because I don't think I would be able to forgive myself if it did, and I would hold myself responsible if something did happen. So I thought that I would pay them a visit and check out what's up. I went over to my father's house, but to my surprise, I found out that they had sold that house around 3 weeks ago and a new family was already living in it. I spoke to the neighbors and found out that the house had been on sale for almost a month apparently. The realtor had made a huge sale, and my dad had received a substantial amount of money because the house that they had been living in was apparently in a prime location right now, and was worth quite a lot. But this was 3 weeks ago and my dad had already received the money by the time he called me, so I could not understand why he felt the need to ask me for money as well. It was confusing and I had no idea what to make of it until this morning when I received a call from my dad's lawyer, who told me that I was going to be excluded from my father's will because I had apparently failed the test that he had set for me. You guys are reading it right, they were not in any real trouble, but my dad was just testing me to see if I would have their back, and on the basis of that, he would include me in the inheritance. He had sold the house because he was moving to live with Eric, who had recently finished his residency, and since he wanted to wrap everything up here before he left, he created this little test for me. I can't even imagine what kind of screwed up mind would think that this is an acceptable thing to do, and I'm honestly glad that I failed his little test because I really don't need his money. He can disappear off the face of the earth tomorrow and I still wouldn't care because I had been carrying a lot in the past few weeks and that got me nowhere. So, no more of that. Gosh, it's still mind-boggling how insensitive and psychotic the two of them still are. I think some people are just not capable of changing and think that the world revolves around them. I'm just glad that the business is doing well, and I will probably not need to rely on anybody's inheritance for the rest of my life if my business continues to grow at this rate. But the mystery had been solved, and there was no reason for me to worry. It's just sad because now if something actually ever happens, I probably won't even believe that. They are pathetic, I just absolutely have to say that. Update 3. Hello. So this update is coming almost a year after the last one, and I'm happy to tell you guys that I am engaged now. I met my future wife last year, and I know that getting engaged after being together for just a year is too soon for most people, but you know what they say, when you know, you just know. And besides, I have known my fiancée ever since we were kids. She had moved away in the middle for a bit, but now she's back, and that's how we reconnected last year and started dating almost immediately because we had wasted a lot of time and we didn't want that anymore. But the update is not about her. As much as I would want to continue talking about it, it's about my dad and my brother's reaction to the news of the engagement. For some reason, they felt the need to reach out to me via email and inform me that while they were happy for me and my fiancée, they would not be attending the wedding, because they think that it's inappropriate for them to be present at an event where the host doesn't even like or respect them. So they wish me the best. They will not be attending any of the wedding festivities. My mom, my fiancé, my friends, and pretty much everyone I know read that email because I forwarded it to them and we had a good laugh about it. It was bold of them to even assume that they would be invited, but nevertheless, it's good to see that they haven't changed a bit and still think that the world revolves around them. At least it keeps us entertained, that's for sure.